folks. Well, I'm sure that most of us might agree that most things in life are black or white. But there is indeed that gray area that probably most of us don't understand. But there are some of us that do. Hi, welcome to Around the Town with Marilyn Forbes. Today I have two very special young ladies who are going to kind of help us look into that gray area and maybe see if we can understand it and figure it out a little bit. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Well, hello folks, and we have our first guest with us today, Jenny, who is a multidimensional therapist, correct?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Well please, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. So my name is Jennifer Schwartz-Flack. Everybody knows me as Serenity Jenny. I am a licensed professional counselor. I am a multidimensional healer, meaning I do spiritual healing, counseling. I'm a psychic medium. I have 5 near-death experiences that had led me to this point in my life.
That's crazy.
So I've been a college professor, I've been a drug and alcohol counselor, I worked in law enforcement, and all of this 20-year identity crisis kind of led me to this place in my life, so I'm able to help people on a very holistic level.
Now, one of the first questions that I asked Jenny was if she has done this all her life, if she felt she was born to it, to the gift. And please relay what you told me. I found this is very fascinating.
So I wrote a book called Unapologetically Authentic. Through my 20-year identity crisis, I realized my mom's Native American, she's Cherokee and Blackfoot. My dad laid hands, and I tried to grow up and be normal, which didn't work out really well. So these 5 near-death experiences just heightened an already existing predisposition to be psychic and have mediumship.
Okay, so what do you do?
So that's a loaded question. So it depends on what kind of need. I mean, I see everybody from children probably 3, 4, 5 years old to 99 years old, big kids, right? But the spiritual issues that they have, maybe they have abilities, maybe they're seeking readings, seeking closure with loved ones who have passed. A lot of children have been coming lately with really huge skill sets and very gifted, very enlightened, and the parents don't want them medicated, so they go a non-traditional route with counseling, and we develop their abilities, kind of like we run Hogwarts.
Okay.
So it's really fun, it's very rewarding. But then there's also hauntings and different things like possessions, like people would have mental health issues. I'm the perfect person to do that because I have the clinical background in the mental health area, and then also the spiritual to assess that to see where that problem would fall on the continuum.
Okay, now I understand that you offer sessions. Now, exactly if I was interested in a session, what would it be that I would be looking at as far as what I would be getting from you?
So I'm also a 4-time Reiki master and a shaman. So depends on if you want a psychic medium reading, a spiritual consultation, or you want a Reiki session.
Okay.
Reiki helps heal the physical body. We use it a lot of times to displace stagnant energy that has plagued somebody when they can't move forward, can't process a trauma or an event. Or a loss. So you could get a Reiki session or you could get a psychic medium reading, which means that your passed over loved ones would come through, and also the energy that's in your energy field, your auric field, I would be able to read that for you as well.
No, I have never heard of that. So that's an aura. That's reading, and okay.
Okay, your aura is made up of 7 layers, and those 7 energy bodies are actually connected to your 7 major chakra centers.
Okay.
So it's really interesting because people will have behavioral issues that plague them throughout their lifetime, and it's actually due to an energy issue or an emotional issue that hasn't been dealt with in one of those energy shells.
Now I want to bring up for the folks. Actually, Jenny and I met 7 years ago or so.
Yes.
And we both remember the meeting because she came walking in. I was walking at Hallmark, and you said something like about my aura and my energy, and it was just like, wow, because she was so excited and so passionate. So, like, do you actually see something around people, or do you feel it, or how do you read somebody's energy?
So a little bit of both, right?
Okay.
So when I met you, I walked in and you have this glowing auric field, and I was just like, wow, she's an angel. You guys probably all know that. And she has this glowing energy around her. So that is the first thing. That's clairvoyance. Like, you know, everybody hears about the Long Island medium. She's clairvoyant. So that means she can see spirit not only internally in her mind's eye, but also externally in the physical world. So that clairvoyance was me seeing your energy. And then clairsentience, which is the feeling, the empath. A lot of people are talking about empaths now. So the empathic ability that I have, I take that information that I'm seeing and I cross-reference it with my feelings, and I'm able to very accurately tell you what I feel through your energy field.
Wow. Now, how long does a session take for say, an energy reading?
I would like to see about an hour reading, because it's a lot for some people, especially if it's their first time to process everything that I've said. I mean, their past over loved ones can come through, their guides and angels. So it's a lot. So it's a little bit of me dumping out all the energy at first, saying how I see the chakra, the aura, whatever they need help healing or what brought them in, and then addressing all the people that have been there in spirit with them. So then they get to ask questions and direct the session a little bit that way. So an hour session is usually what we shoot for.
And you do, I'm assuming there are people that you work with on a regular basis?
I do. I actually have several very high profile clients. One is in a very internationally known band. So I get to go and treat them on their tour bus sometimes, and it's kind of cool.
Well, that's
so
fun.
Can't have my client list, but I have some really notable people in businesses as well, because energy doesn't know time, distance, or space, and the energy of a business or the alchemy of a business actually can be treated as well. So it's really cool how energy kind of fits every area of life and every kind of person. So can a person change their energy? Absolutely.
So that you can help someone do that. Say if you have a session with somebody and you sense that they don't have a very happy energy going for them, you can help them to actually make it better?
Absolutely.
Really? Oh, that's so interesting.
It's amazing, because when I was in drug and alcohol, a lot of this realization started coming to me. I was seeing people through outpatient therapy, and I would see that they would have fractures in their soul. So I would know where the trauma point was. So I would say, what happened between when you were 6 and 10, because there's this huge loss there that I can see. And it was enabling me to help them in their counseling sessions progress very rapidly. So it was really neat.
Oh, wow.
To have that kind of application and treat somebody in the soul center, as opposed to just behaviorally, psychologically, or emotionally. We can do that all together.
Okay, now as far as your area, well, you said you go to tour buses, so you must really, you're willing to travel, but you also do over the phone as well, correct?
I do virtual and
Okay.
I do in person, and I do have a circuit that we travel a good bit over the country now too. I actually have clients in Germany and Kenya as well.
Really?
I work with people in Australia and South Africa, so different continents, so very worldwide reach. Can't forget my friends in Canada, almost forgot them too. But there's a lot of people, they drive from different states to come to this area to have their sessions too, so they get to experience Chestnut Ridge and all its glory and all the beautiful things we have around here. So it's really cool.
We are so fortunate. This is a beautiful area.
It really is.
But now, as far as you yourself as a person, whenever you're working with somebody and you're helping them to repair or improve their energy, does that take anything from you and your energy? Do you understand what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
are you switching, or are you just helping?
Actually, when I first started and I was doing psychic medium readings before I learned Reiki, it did pull from my own personal energy source. When I learned Reiki, and I've studied with the International Center for Reiki Training, and I'm an affiliate of theirs, so I'm a 4-time Reiki master, so I've been studying for a long time now, but it doesn't deplete me in any way, shape, or form, because when I give healing energy to somebody else, I'm actually getting it.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
it
So it's
really
not like
works
draining
well.
you or
Nope.
anything like that. Okay. Because I was thinking about that. I thought, wow, like if, you see on television and,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
how somebody will do a reading or then they pass out or they faint or they're just, it's
so
not like
exhausted.
that.
No.
Okay.
When you're untrained, it can pull from your energy fields. And a lot of people who are very kind and just selfless, they actually deplete themselves unnecessarily when they're like trying to help another person. So learning this stuff was invaluable. I've been able to teach other therapists and clinicians the things that I know on this energy medicine or metaphysical side, so it helps them not to be drained and not burn out in their field.
Now, how did you learn this though? I mean, is there actually classes to go? Do you understand what I mean? Or did you
teach
just
them.
work with people?
I sought them out because during my graduate studies, like there was not even word one of chakras, energy medicine, nothing. And I mean, I'm in a very well-known counseling program, and I thought that would be something that we would address because I was interested in it, but I just really didn't know enough about it. So I set out on this quest to actually find teachers. So William Rand at the International Center for Reiki Training has trained me a good bit. I have a shaman that I work with. He's very well known, Raymond Grace. I've been afforded to study with a lot of our folks around here who are very gifted and have old world knowledge, but don't really like to talk about it. They definitely wouldn't be on a show like this talking about it. But they've gifted me with that knowledge. And actually now I teach other people how to do Reiki because I'm a Reiki master teacher. I do Karuna, Holy Fire Reiki, and Usui Tibetan, in addition to celestial shamanism.
Do you have to be born with any type of a gift?
No.
You don't. So anyone would be able to at least try to learn to
Absolutely.
help
Yeah, because
people?
we have 5 physical senses and we have 12 strand DNA. So if we think about that, there's 7 missing. So those 7 senses that aren't usually acknowledged are the clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance. Those clair senses are our extrasensory perception. So we all are born psychic. It's just to what degree that you're embracing these abilities. It's like getting a new phone. You don't know what it does until you actually start using it.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Bet
It's a
it
magical
is.
side of life that not too many people know about.
It has to be, but just what you learn all the time must be crazy. I mean,
It's fun because
crazy fun. I meant that in a good way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like looking at you and seeing your auric field and knowing how much angelic energy you have. You probably have a hard time saying no to people. Probably have a hard time with boundaries. I mean, this is just stuff that is exuded from your energy field. And then we go into like your passed over loved ones and how you can connect with them. Kind of helps me as a clinician give you tools and empower you so you don't need me as much, because that's the goal of therapy, is to give you a skill set to help you have that conflict resolution skill set. So if you need to connect to your spirits, to your guides, to your angels, you'll be able to do that.
Okay. I know you said an hour, but is there any way that we can quickly see if?
Heck yeah.
Okay, we have a couple minutes left.
So yeah, Dad's passed over for you, yes?
Yes.
And he's standing behind you right now. So men are usually presenting to me on their right side of the people because that's the male part of the body. The female is the left side. So, and did he smoked a pipe or something, tobacco or a pipe? Yes.
He smoked.
So when you smell that sense, that clairalient sense, is his spirit being with you at that time. So if you're smelling it out of nowhere, chances are his spirit's with you. And when your right ear is ringing, which you have happen a lot, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so the high pitched frequency of the spirit being in your area actually is causing that frequency to be present in your ear. So he's with you at that time. And you just need to ask him like what he wants you to know, because you don't need me to interpret that for you. You just have to be aware, because you probably will have thoughts that he's there with you or you're thinking about him at that time that your ear is ringing.
Now, I dream about him a lot.
So he's coming to you in your dream state to have a visitation with you. That's not always a dream.
Okay.
That's like a visitation, because, if he popped in here, we both would be like, so he's able to get that information across to you a little bit easier in a dream state because you're more relaxed.
Okay. Is there anyone else or anything else you can
So
see
there's a
or
lady.
feel?
There's a lady also who passed from the chest area, probably like breast cancer and or I would say breast cancer. It looks like a chest issue or a lung issue in this area. And who's this woman to you? And she has to do with the letter S. Yeah, letter S. So I feel like, this is something, and you get really emotional.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah. She just passed away a couple years ago, so that's fresh.
So fresh and new. She just wants to let you know that she's with you and that she is very proud of you, and she's very happy with what you did with her purses.
Okay.
Okay. It's not my job to censor the information.
Okay.
So I don't know. Are you using them? Do you know where they're at? So you might want to work on that
I
one.
might
huh?
let them
Yeah. Maybe you should be
purses.
doing something
Maybe
with
I
the
should be
purses.
doing something with the
Yeah.
purses.
And a lot of times they'll like validate for you something that is personal to you. So I'm asking her if there's something that she can tell me in spirit that will kind of validate that to you. Did you have some kind of round matching flat coins?
Not that I can remember.
So I want you to, when you think, she said you do, she said you know what she's talking about too.
I do know what she's talking about. Okay.
Okay, so that is her validating, that's her seriously, like I have no idea anything about you and your sister and that connection, and it feels beautiful, but that's something to let you know that's just special to you two, that is her.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh
You're
my goodness
welcome.
gracious. I want you folks to be able to also get in touch with you.
Yes.
We will give all of your contact information at the end.
Thank you,
Thank
yeah.
you. This has been amazing.
Oh, it's awesome. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
And I can tell this is such a small. She actually jokingly said that she was on a show, and after he got done reading her bio, said, "Well, the show's over now."
Hey, you'll have to check it out online. It's
Okay,
quite
awesome.
lengthy.
Yes, like I said, we'll make sure that we include all of your contact
Thank you
information.
so much.
Thank
it was
you.
a pleasure.
This was wonderful.
Great to
Thank
see you again. Thanks so much.
Well, folks, for our second segment of the show, we have with us Cassie. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Now, Cassie, tell us, first of all, how do you pronounce it?
It's called tarot.
Tarot, because I know some people say tarot or tarot or whoever. So please tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so so what tarot is, it's a divination tool. It can kind of tell you a possible future, maybe give some advice about with a problem, or just maybe even sometimes people think, depending on the culture, a message from their what they believe in, because everyone kind of believes something a little bit different. But yeah, it's not the end all be all, and like things change.
So it's not real specific. It's just kind of a broad.
Yeah, sometimes
Okay.
it can be. It just depends. And I feel like the more you're willing to be a part of the experience, the better it is for the person.
Now, for those of you who may not even know what this is, it's cards, 70 some cards,
Yes.
we think,
Yeah.
and they're all going to show us a couple of them. They're all
Sure.
different. And Cassie has been working with this for a long time. Now,
Yeah.
is this like your favorite deck, or is this the only deck you use? Because I know you can get round ones and all kinds of different ones.
So these particular ones are based off of the Rider-Waite deck, and those are sort of the original, starting with the Romani people, Irish travelers. And they used to be almost like you could read off of a regular deck of cards. And then because so many people wanted to learn, they changed them. Now this is one of my favorite decks though. Each different ones have meanings, like there's the major arcana and the minor arcana. And the major arcana is very like those life-changing cards.
Okay.
And minor has a lot to do with like emotions, money, sometimes some turbulence, and can give you extra information on those big changes in your life. So sometimes I like to take them out and just, and all the pictures have very beautiful meanings as well.
These are
They're all-
lovely. I mean, they're really
yeah.
some of the decks you see, I think, are frightening looking. They're
Yeah, they
very
kind of
dark.
are.
These are
Yes.
actually quite lovely.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's because they're based off of like originally just a plain deck of cards, and they sort of have that very like very structured way of how they look. But I think what's nice about nowadays with tarot cards is since more people understand what it is, a lot of people make their own art, and it has lots of symbolism.
Oh,
in it.
okay.
So when you take them out, it's almost, you can get more of it and people can learn it a little quicker.
Oh,
Because
okay.
you can look at the picture and go, for example, the Eight of Pentacles, it has a spider in a tree. And Pentacles has to do with career or wealth or abundance. And you have the spider spinning its little eggs. So if you think about it, if you are just looking at this card in general, it's about gathering resources and saving money. So
okay.
see how
All
that
right.
kind of works?
Okay,
And
so
depending on the spread, it could mean something a little different. Maybe it's a message of save your money.
Okay.
Stop spending so much or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but
okay, now if I do have something that I'm worrying a little bit about.
okay.
Okay, can we
Yeah,
see what the
of
what the
course.
outcome might be from that?
Yeah. So I like to shuffle first.
Okay.
Now, how good are you at shuffling?
I used to be pretty good.
So I'm going to have you shuffle, okay?
Okay.
And when you are thinking about that particular thing, while you're shuffling, try to
Okay.
focus on it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
There you go. And just shuffle as best as you can.
Okay. We used to be able to do this pretty good
They're very well worn, so.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Can't get that fancy. Do I just keep shuffling?
Yeah, whatever feels right.
Okay.
And I think everyone kind of gets a little feeling, go, okay, yeah, this feels good.
Okay.
No hard or fast
There you
way.
go.
Okay, it feels good.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
No, I don't have my glasses on, so I don't.
That's okay. I can read them out loud if you
Okay.
like. Okay, I'll start there, but I'll probably end up drawing more cards just because I want
Okay.
to. Okay, I'm going to move them up a little bit. So this card here it represents you now,
Okay.
kind of in the present. So it's Ten of Swords. So Ten of Swords is one of those cards where it means change, and a change in a way where you kind of see coming in a way, if that makes sense. So I feel like this particular thing you were thinking about, I think it's sort of like an inevitable change, and it will be hard for whoever is affecting, whether it's you or your family. And let's see, because I have Knight of Wands as well. This is one of those cards where a knight is that fighting spirit that people have. I think it's one of those things. It's a very, in this particular instance, because it's paired with the Ten of Swords, it has a lot to do with, I'm getting a feeling, because sometimes I pick up on feelings, that you kind of know the outcome generally, but you're afraid to say anything, because I think this particular thing you're afraid to say it because we're trying to figure out if it's your place to say whether you don't want
Right.
to overstep your boundaries, whatever that may be. Because I have Knight of Cups as well. I feel like the relationship is being strained, if that makes any sense. That's kind of a message that's kind of popping in my mind. It's very strained, because Knight of Cups has a lot to do with, obviously, because we have a lot of knights. So it's one of those things where you kind of see these people kind of giving up what they were so, almost giving up on themselves or the relationship in a way. I don't know if any of that makes sense. Here, I'm going to pull this down a little bit. So I have Four of Swords as well. And this kind of has to do with, usually it has to do with resting and taking like a back seat. But I think the reason why this one's reversed, because when cards are reversed, it kind of changes the meaning a little bit. I think this one, it's one of those things where it's asking you that it's okay to speak up and taking that back burner and kind of, but it's doing it almost like in a respectful way, because it's going to change, it's going to be hard, It's okay to say something, but it's one of those things where it's how you say it. So I have Four of Wands, and this has a lot to do with having a good support system. So I feel like it's one of those things, if it's sort of something you've been keeping to yourself, it will be really good to talk about it with people, because I think you'll be really surprised with the answer.
Oh.
And getting a third party perspective would be really good for this situation. Because it's one of those things where, especially because you have all the, fancy elk and they're running off into the sun. It's one of those things where they'll be very supportive in whatever, the better word would be non-judgmental.
Okay.
Because it's one of those things I think you're kind of afraid to speak it out loud, because it's like, am I the jerk in this situation because I'm thinking these things?
Okay.
But I think a lot of it has to do, because I have this, a lot of it might have to do with this underlying anxiety, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to put this down though. So what I think is really great though is I have the Empress. And I think once you kind of take that next step about kind of speaking it out loud, this is a lovely card. This is a feminine energy, and she's the ultimate mother figure. So I feel like a lot of it, because I'm getting all this, it might have something to do with one of your children. But You could just, I'm kind of getting a feeling you see a pattern of behavior that's concerning. And it's one of those things where don't be afraid, it's asking in this part, be like, don't give your, being that motherly figure, sometimes you have to say things that they don't necessarily like. Because at the end of the day, you're their mother, not their best friend. If that makes any sense.
Sure.
Yeah. So then I also have Nine of Pentacles as well. And it's hard because it's one of these cards where when the Ten of Swords comes into play, this is almost kind of a similar card where they kind of have to, this is kind of a reevaluation card. And like, where do we go from here? So it's one of those things where I feel like whatever this possible thing is, change isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
It's one of those things where, especially if you kind of see it coming, it just means that something isn't working and there's something better a better outcome for them, whatever it may be.
Oh.
And I think it's saying, the general message I'm getting is that totally say something,
Okay.
just say I wouldn't say, just kind of try to soften the blow, because I think it might be a touchy subject for this person, whatever it may be, if that makes sense.
It does make sense completely.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pull another one
Okay.
because I'm curious. Okay. So Three of Swords, and swords in general, it's an air sign. An air sign means like fighting and turbulence. This particular one has to do with a type of people in general who aren't putting this person's best interest at heart, and what it can turn into is something traumatizing in a way. And I don't know if it has anything to do with work, but this possibly could, because I have Ace of Pentacles as well. And usually aces are very lucky, but it's a little bit reversed. But I feel like it's one of those things, like once it's kind of put out, that what everyone else is thinking, like maybe if they should go for another job opportunity, possibly. Because I think staying is kind of what's giving them this, I get a very tension, and it's almost like affecting their mental health in a way, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
But here's the thing is, I think, because I get an overall feeling you are doing well, but I'm really getting a feeling it's, I think it's saying it's like, oh, you got to step in and say something, whatever that thing that's on your mind.
Okay.
If that
Like
makes
tackle
sense.
it.
Yeah, it's okay to say something because
Okay.
it's your mom and you care about them. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh,
I don't know.
interesting.
Do you have any questions?
No,
That's pretty good.
actually, that's a question. Do people
Yeah.
generally ask you questions as you're reading, as you're going along?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I always ask because sometimes when people read, it can almost be like a therapy session. So sometimes you're taking news and you are like, wow, I've never thought about it that way before. And it's almost like you have to process it in a way,
Okay.
And yeah, or any clarity on any of the cards, if any of them, didn't really make much sense or, but like I said, tarot's not the end all be all. So something like this, can change.
No, I'm going to ask you a question, the same thing that I asked Jenny.
of
Do you have
course.
people that, I know that you're set up at the booth, but
Yeah.
that are starting to come and seek you out that want readings on a regular basis?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. That's why I'm trying to figure out a space where I can do it more frequently, because it's hard when we travel a lot.
Sure, I bet you,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So now, what's the name of your booth again?
It's called Flora and Folklore.
Okay, and it's at most of the area.
Yes, all the local area festivals, even sometimes out of state, like New York, West Virginia. We've gone as far as, like I said, Altoona, Johnstown. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
And now, can people get in touch with you personally? to like to set up a reading? I know you said you were talking about.
I'm gonna start doing Facebook Live on
Okay.
our Flora and Folklore Instagram.
Okay.
So I'll be able to answer questions
Oh,
or
well,
just
that's
kind of
cool.
hang out and
All right.
talk and
Okay.
have fun.
Okay.
We'll have fun with it, you know.
So we'll include your contact information then at the end as well, so
yeah,
people
of
can
course.
look for
us
you.
up and have a bit of a chat.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show. I know I did. It was actually very enlightening. Both of the ladies were wonderful, and I was really happy that they were able to be a part of the show. Before we sign off, one more time, a big thanks to the Gypsy Lane Cafe. And thank you, Julie, for letting us use your space today. We're going to have the ladies' contact information for you folks at the end of the show, so if you want to get in touch with them yourselves, you'll be able to. Again, I hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, keep smiling, keep dreaming, and keep watching.